there's a crunching sound in the desert dark. What the hell is that? Ooh, shivers. For the last 2 nights, there's been chains. Sounds like freaking something in a horror movie. I've been hearing chains rattling in the dark. Now it sounds like a big animal that has a bone in its mouth. Right over there. Good Lord. What could that be? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and light the fire. Maybe I can set this up so that you don't fall over. Yeah, that should work. Okay, let's light the fire. Flame. It's so easy to light. Everything's so dry out here. There we go. And we're off. There. This should do the job. Isn't that nice? Greetings from the Anza Borrego Desert. I'm Kurt, softypapa, if you like. And I thought I would go ahead and start this live. Keep me company a little bit here in the night. You know what I need is I need another little chair. Hold on a second. I have an idea, but you have to wait here for just a second. You can look at the fire. I'm spilling me cider. Make sure I close the gate so that my little Chihuahua Pomeranian can't get out. Do you hear the coyotes? Listen. Can you hear them howling? Let's see how this might work. I'll get this figured out. Like this would be nice. Ooh, I kind of like that. You can see the fire now. Ooh, there's... Let me see, I wonder if I turn the porch light off. Bear with me. And how about if I move this table to the other side? Don't spill my grog. How's this? Oh, you can see the fire too. Ooh. Hi, Em. Yeah, it is a nice fire. You know what? I have a further idea. Just a second. Okay. Here, let me try this. This is the old tripod that I carried around in Japan, this softypapa. If you go to my channel and you look at the banner at the top, there's a photo of me at an abandoned house. I'm carrying this over my shoulder like this. It's the same one. I plan to bring it back to Japan. This is a Manfrotto tripod that has served me very well over the years. I carried it with me in Japan for two reasons. One was ostensibly photography, but I frankly didn't use it very often for photography. My real reason in carrying this, real reason in carrying this was in case I ran into a boar or a bear, as I had planned to defend myself using the tripod as a weapon. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, you made it for a random live, Em. Who are you, Em? Your name seems familiar, but M doesn't quite give it enough away. Crap. I dropped y'all twice. Now, let me tell you in just a minute what my plan is to deal with this. It's not a plan I can execute tonight. Can someone, Michael, your fellow PM. Oh, Michael. I was thinking it might be you. Yeah. I don't, long time no see. Haven't seen you over in the Discord for a long time. I imagine that's because life, right? Hashtag life. Michael, can you give me a sound check? How's the audio at this distance? Can you hear me clearly? Solid. Good, good, good. Curiosity, Michael. Can you hear the dogs barking in the distance, or more better yet, the coyotes howling? No dogs, but hear the drone of crickets and insects. Good. Well, I have to say, I think, Michael, that we have here my favorite yet composition. Don't you think so? With the fire and the illumination and the crickets? Shouldn't this just be how I do everything? Is Michael, I have a curiosity for you, a question for you. Is the audio good enough to do a podcast with this? Do you think? Because I've been using my wireless mic, but it has a few issues. It cuts out with the crickets. Oh yeah, good ambience. You've had a few of these good ones recently for audio. Yeah, I think it would be fine for podcast. Really, even at this distance, I'm like 2.5 feet away, and the audio is coming through, and the crickets are coming through. That's great. Well, Michael, I will confess you've been on my mind um, in recently. Um, I think about you. I wonder how things are going with you. I imagine that you are simply buttoned down with the weight and responsibility of life, as you should be at your age, with your familial situation. And know that I respect that and do not expect anything more than I don't even expect anything of you. I don't deserve to expect anything of you. But the fact that you may pop up once in a while is sufficient for me. And you're not alone, Michael, um, among my friends who are so distracted by life. There are a couple of people from our Discord who have kind of dropped off the map, all for very good reason. Attending to life. Things are well, just busy. Kids are at that age when I'm trying to be a very present there, plus work has been a huge beast. See, you're attending to all the best stuff, Michael. I respect that so much. I really do. YouTube is the limit of my social media these days. It's easy to be a passive consumer. Yeah, it's probably the right thing to do, though, right? Circumstances, responsibility. But I'm preaching to the choir. You know that so well. You're right in the thick of it, delivering, every day. I imagine things are starting to fold up on the farm, right? Although maybe like here, the heat is lasting a little longer. Summer hasn't quite relinquished its grasp. But I was about to say about Ron. Do you remember Ron? He didn't show up too much in our Discord. Um, Ron from Israel, who wound up in Japan by way of England. Well, Ron, there's a big bug walking across the ground. You remember Ron. Good. You got to watch out here in the desert. There's things that are scurrying across the ground that make you want to lift your feet up. I'm wearing my lighter shoes today with the holes in them, so I worry sometimes that things might sequester themselves into the shoe by way of the hole. Did you see those sparks? How satisfying is that? Oh my God. Could I just sit here for the rest of my life and make lives like this for the rest of my life? When I get my place in Japan, I'm going to need to get a place where I can have a fire, right? And set up a similar situation to this. The light on my face is not from the fire, but from this candle. I'm tempted to go build a bonfire too. You've got the land for it, don't you? You lucky guy. I imagine the kids are back in school now, right? Hands are full. Still making the commute into, what is it, Nashville? Once in a while? Sorry for the silence. Yep, Nashville, 5 days a week now, 1.5 hour one way. Oh my God. Every day now. So your company, like, I hope you don't mind me talking. I'm not going to disclose any more than I know, which isn't a lot about your circumstance, Ron. I don't know the details, but is your company, like many companies, decided to pull people back? But a 3 hour commute a day, it's a double-edged sword though, right? I mean, of course it's going to be incredibly trying and expensive, but also don't you get a 3 hour respite in a way also? Assuming you're not. I could never understand my coworkers who carpooled with, we had like a system at work, place where I work, the IT group alone is like 400 people. The entire employee base of the county where I work is 35,000. So we have these things like, they have like a whole department that arranges carpool situations. And I could never quite understand my friends who would, oh, it's mostly traffic and I don't mind talking openly about my details, but yeah, 3 days minimum for it makes it disappear. 3 days minimum for non-managers and 5 for managers. Well, congratulations on being a manager, I guess. Oh man, management has its perks, right? Well, I mean that. I don't mean that. I'm not jabbing at you. You know me well enough to know I'm not jabbing at you, right? But I am jabbing at you. It's the same at the organization where I work. Managers and above have to come into the office. So, you know, I guess you know, there are no perks. Well, the perks are the salary, right? Which at your stage of responsibility in life is an important thing. And maybe there's perks later on, right? Now, being a 60-year-old guy on the verge of retirement, that's foremost in my mind, especially when I'm talking to younger people, although I typically keep my mouth shut. Not even salary justifies it most days, haha. I found that to be the case, but you might find here's something to think about, Ron. Okay, um, I'm an open book for everything, right? So I got a real big boost. Well, circumstances are different. So for my retirement, I spent 2 years in the management ranks. I was technically on paper a manager, and I had a nicer salary as a result. And that really boosted my retirement benefits. Um, it was a real boom. I've been very lucky that way, as stupid as I am with everything else. So maybe you'll enjoy a similar such benefit. It's so good to talk to you, Ron. No, I'm not kidding you. When I'm telling you, I think about you. I post pretty much every day now on Discord. At least a little wave at everybody. And you are always on my mind when I do that. Maybe it's because there's a similarity in our life story. Or maybe it's just because I like you a lot. See you as a comrade. Whatever the case it is, it's good to hear from you again. It's good to see you here. Hold on while I go put another log on the fire. We can't let this diminish down. Besides, if I burn up all the wood, it gives me an excuse to go see the cute woman from Thailand who sells the wood. Shh, don't tell anybody I said that. I got this hook. Okay, I'm just going to burn it all. Myself too in the process. Oh, what did I just do? let's let it burn. Yumiko, my wife, just next to me, he sleeps a lot. I think he's suffering from jet lag. She's talking about Ollie. Ollie the dog. We indeed have a very similar journey. I'm coming to visit in Japan once you get settled. Gotta restock my Shizuoka green tea. I was going to ask how Ollie was holding up. Ron, I expect you in Shizuoka. That would make me so happy if you can come by. That would be great. And it's funny. Considering my social circumstances, um, it would mean a lot to me. I'm gonna miss America, and it would be nice to receive visit from some of the people that have meant a lot to me here, and you're one of them. So with regard to Ollie, so Yumiko and I were having many photos there. Emily is down in Shizuoka right now, and they were at the park and sending photos. And she just commented, I saw the pop down. She says that Ollie's sleeping a lot for jet lag. I guess that's right. Any biological organism might experience that, right? Okay. These lives aren't like me anymore. But I guess I started it tonight because I wanted a little company. And thank you, Michael. I'm glad he made it safely there, too. So Ollie's experiencing a little jet lag, and I'm probably experiencing a little something similar to myself, similar myself, although I don't know what I could call it. It's a lag of sorts, though. I don't know if you can hear all the barnyard animals out there. Did you hear that cow, Michael? Well, I hope you articulated I think you have articulated the difference in your relationship with the dogs. Ha, I did hear the cow. You did, good. You hear the dogs now. Good. I know you've articulated the difference in your relationship with the dogs. Yeah. Hey, Lyle's brother. Whoa, there's a name from the past. Boba Sweat. Now, Boba Sweat, that's interesting that you referred to me as Lyle's brother. That's a name that, although you might find this interesting, Michael, you might find this interesting too. When I first came back to America, the job that I got was by virtue of the connection with my brother, who been following you for half my life now, Kurt. Oh my God. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So you might find this interesting, Boba Sweat. It was my brother was the one that stimulated my return to America. I told him that I wanted to come back to America, and he and I have both worked in IT together. In fact, we've facilitated one another's employment in multiple organizations. I brought him over when I was in the private sector to a startup, and then when I wanted to come back to America, it was my brother Lyle that said, well, Kurt, why don't you apply where I work? We could use you here. Okay, well, I will. So I did. I applied, and I wound up getting a job. That's a whole other story. But the funny thing is, you might find being called Lyle's brother. When I started at the organization, I would be milling around getting to know everybody. And every now and then someone who knew my brother Lyle would put two and two together and say, you're Lyle's brother. And I say, well, yes, in fact, that's right, I am Lyle's brother. Isn't that funny? Of course, they didn't get what I was talking about, but to the point, let's get out my little violin. This has turned into a bit of a tough week with Ollie's departure. Ollie the dog went back to Japan on Wednesday. Ever since he left, you were Lyle's brother on YouTube long before that, though. That's right. That's right. So that was the what I meant by that, Michael, was that I had identified as Lyle's brother through YouTube, and then to have people who knew nothing about my YouTube call me Lyle's brother felt uh, curious, to say the least. But anyway, I won't dwell on it very long. But ever since Ollie left, and now the balance of the family, the 5 individuals in my family, myself, my wife, my daughter, and the 2 dogs, Ollie and Rudy, 5. With this week, the shift has changed from 3 in Japan. That sounds like I'm doing the Vulcan thing. 3 in Japan, and 2 in America, me and I, who's right behind me in the dark. You can't see him, but he's right back there. And I'm ready to go. I don't want to stay here any longer. Nothing against America. It's just that my mission here is done. My purpose here is done. Every day that I spend now seems superfluous to the task. I first found you with the Walking in Japan vids 14 something years ago. Now it feels like I've gone full circle a couple of times. Wow. Well, you're about to go full circle again. And 14 years ago, that puts you, I was only 4 years into YouTube at that point. Full circle again, because I'm about to start the Walking in Japan series again. When I get back to Japan, I'll be doing that in earnest. So just out of curiosity, if you don't mind me asking, how old were you when we first met, so to speak? You said half your life, so that must have been, can't wait to see those videos again, Klaus says. Thank you. The typical demographic that, I hear this a lot. I hear a lot from mid-teens, young men in particular. There you go, 17, and I'm 35 now. I've heard, I don't know what it is. Maybe you can help me to figure this out. I can't tell you how many times I've been contacted by young Boba, but I imagine by the nature of your name, are you of the male persuasion? Because it's 9 out of 10 men. 1 out of 10, I get a woman who contacts me and tells me this story. But they're, yes, okay, good. Um, Not that it necessarily, but it's curious to me. It tells me something about the inclination and the interest of the people who find my channel. There's a big bug in my head. What is this? Anyway, um, I and I know other YouTubers have said the same thing. Scott Ackerman, Unrested, who's recently describing the same phenomenon. So maybe it's not particular to me, but in particular to the fact that I was a Japan YouTuber sharing about someplace exotic and different that might, and I would love to get your perspective on this, Boba, if you don't mind me calling that. For me, I love hiking and exploring and being a weeb. At this time I found you, so I was awesome exploring Japan with you. What does that mean, being a weeb? I don't know what that means. I've heard that before, and I'm embarrassed I don't know what it means. Can you explain that to me? Is that like an otaku? Being a weeb? I'll wait for your answer. Mm. Yeah, okay, oh, okay. A weeb for what? An otaku for what? Klaus says, yeah. I loved watching the abandoned explorations. I've always loved looking at abandoned stuff, no matter where it is or how I find it. Anime. Oh, okay. Oh, I think I'm getting 2 conversations crossed here. Oh, Klaus was saying he loved the hiking and exploring. I see, sorry. So Boba Sweat liked the abandoned stuff. Klaus liked the exploring. So neither of you are telling me what I was thinking was the case. I'm not trying to put aside what you've said. So Klaus liked the exploring. Oh crap. No, it's important to me. I really want to hear. I really want to follow what you guys are saying, but these comments are hard to follow sometimes. Hold on, just a second. So Klaus was into anime. He's a weeb for anime, and Boba liked the abandoned stuff. So Klaus, you would say it would be more of a Japan interest, right? And then Boba, it was more of the whether it would be Japan or not, right, Boba? You would be interested, like if it was abandoned. There's great abandoned channels in like England, right? You'd be interested in that too. Roku Jones says weeboo is the mostly derogatory slang term for Western person who is obsessed with Japanese culture, especially anime, often regarding as superior to all other cultures. Oh yeah, I should know this. You're right. Thank you for reminding me of that. Who is your favorite Pokemon? I don't know if you're asking me that. I won't be able to answer that. Ollie looks so happy in that picture you posted. Glad he made the round trip. Yeah. Oh, high five, Chan 3. Oh, there's so many of you here now. I loved your desert videos too, seeing you check out abandoned stuff there. Thank you. But I do want to ask a question for you, Boba, if you don't mind me shortening your name to just that. And maybe the answer is no. But for a lot of the young people who, particularly young men at your age, who found me at your age, it seemed like they were suffering from suffering is not the right word, thinking about the world beyond the world they knew. And they latched on to a vision that I was providing through my channel and my various, brands, Abandoned Japan, Walking to Japan, and Lyle's brother, that may have satisfied a curiosity, which I would totally empathize with or sympathize with. Because when I was 16 years old, I was going through the same type of thing. This was long before the internet, though. The best I could do at that point was pull my car to the side of the road and walk up into the mountains a little bit. And this is something that I actually did. Sit under a big pine tree and ponder. I more used you as inspiration, says Boba. It got me to go outside and explore way outside my own little bubble. Ooh, I would like to know about that. Like, what did you do? Where did you go? What did you do? Did you take risks? And why would you not do it without me, so to speak? No. What the hell is that sound? That was spooky. Something back there was making some spooky sounds. I'm hearing all kinds of things at night. I saw a bobcat last night. Anyway, the thing was, I'm in the same boat. Okay, at 16, my family was falling apart. I had no guidance, no adult guidance, nothing like that. Off-roading, exploring brand new stuff. I saw you doing it, and it looked really fun. I see. Okay. Well, I would have to say I did exactly the same thing. Only instead of YouTube, the only thing I had was books and stuff like that. I guess I could have gotten into the WWF and, wanted to be like Hulk Hogan, but I didn't go that route. I went the route of literature and found Henry David Thoreau. And it was his example of his life at Walden Pond, 2 years, 2 months and 2 days to be exact, that then became my template for how to live. So I guess that I'm just discovering now, thanks to you, is that the example of the many young men and a few young women who've contacted me over the years to tell me of how my videos have, for lack of a better term, helped them to motivate them, catalyze their own actions, was exactly what happened to me. But for me, it was a man 150 years dead by the time I was 16 years old, his example. Maybe it's helpful to have older people that have gone before, as they say in Japanese, sensei, which means one who has gone before, to illustrate the way. Embarrassingly, I'm still working out the courage to venture out of my own like you do. I'll come back to that in just a second, Klaus. Roku says, Kurt, do you have a favorite movie? Wow, says Boba. Michael says, same. You motivated me to help me get out. I was already married in my mid-20s when I started watching in 2007 or 2008. And Bob says, hi, Kurt. Wow, there's so many questions here and so many comments. Let's see if I can address these one by one in rapid session because more will be coming. More may come. So, Klaus, you say, embarrassingly, I'm still working out the courage to venture out on my own like you do. Be careful, though, please. It's a dangerous thing. I know that the examples that I show are sometimes motivate people to do that. I just want to make sure you know that it's a disclaimer. Have you? And I'm not trying to sell you my book. I'll send it to you for free if you want. Just send me an email. Anybody. dinnerbytheriver@gmail.com, and I'll send you a PDF copy of Going Alone. But have you read my book, Going Alone? It's all about that very thing that you're talking about, Klaus, and particularly the risks associated with that and the potential gain that can be had. So I wrote Going Alone for you, for people like you, for people like us. I bought it, but I haven't read it yet. Oh, okay. Let me know if you have any questions, okay, Boba Sweat? I really sincerely mean that. The books, let me get dwell on before I try to address any things. Boba, Going Alone is a weird read. I wrote it with Henry David Thoreau Walden in mind. I don't know if you've read Walden. Walden is a book about this thick. Took me maybe 10 years to read the whole book. And I'm not saying my book is any Walden, but I wrote I deliberately with Walden in mind. The reason it took me that long to read was that I'd read a little bit and I'd have to go away and think about it for a long time. And I'm not trying to say that my book is like that. My book doesn't approach Walden, the excellence of Walden. But I wanted to write a book that wasn't a story so much as a reference guide, something to be opened, read, and thought about that might help to develop the mind. Okay, I'm 60, so I can offer opportunity to develop the mind. I think I've gained that privilege. Experience counts, right? So if you read my book, don't read it. Don't. I think you'll find about the first one third of the way through, or read like a story, and then it kind of wanders off into something else, right? Just know that that's deliberate. I did that on purpose. Okay. My hope was that people that would buy my book would keep it around and maybe out of curiosity open a page now and then every year or so, and maybe over the course of a decade read the whole damn thing. I see more comments coming down. Let's see if I can catch up here. This has turned out to be a very useful, good use of time. Um, I bought the book this way, okay, and then there was other comments here. Michael says, "You hope I motivated you to help get out. I was already married and in my mid-20s when I started watching." Now, Michael, I have a question for you though. I know your story very well. So you are what I would consider to be the respectable father and husband. You are, if I was to do things over again, I would want to be like you, um, because you fulfill your duty and your responsibility. What was it though, if you don't mind me asking, though, that I wouldn't lacking is not the right word. What space in the puzzle did my videos fill? I wonder, because just us, right? In contemporary sense, family should be enough, right? It wasn't enough for me. I'm not embarrassed to say that. That's why every 2 weeks I had a deal with my wife. Every 2 weeks I go into the wilderness alone to tickle that something that wasn't enough. Okay. Michael says, too short for chat, but let's put a few bullets. Oh, we got some bullets coming. Well, you get those bullets ready. Let's see if I can address anything else. Kurt, you have a favorite movie. A favorite movie. Okay, let me think. Is there a movie that I turn to? I'm not a big movie watcher. Okay. I can't think of any favorite movie from the past. But I'm going to tell you a movie that I'm watching right now that I haven't finished. I started yesterday. That is kind of blowing my mind. It's a Japanese horror flick called, and I'm going to say it wrong, Tetsuyo. Tetsuyo means iron, right? So in Japanese, Tetsuyo the Iron Man. You can find it on YouTube and watch it for free. It's a horror flick. I like stuff that bends my mind. I like content that takes my paradigm and shakes it loose. I'm only about halfway through this movie, and the first scene was almost enough to turn me off. Because I'm not a horror fan, I almost stopped watching it, but I'm glad I continued. And I've saved it. I didn't finish it last night because I'm a slow watcher of movies. So I'd have to say that that's my favorite right now. If it's Tetsuyo the Iron Man. I see that Michael's bullets are coming through. Let's have a look. Oh, this is so much fun. I'm so glad I started this live. Michael says, we innately, maybe as men, crave to see what's over the next hill. I am never satisfied sitting in place, always seeking, always craving that journey. I have done some exploration, but you got me to get up and go to Japan. You mentioned the small towns were disappearing, so I had to see it before it was changing too much. And then there's the whole religious journey. You help me recognize my path as a moral person in the absence of, and there's more coming. Wow, there's so much wrapped up in that, Michael, and I can fill in the blanks already because you and I have talked extensively in the past. Yeah. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that about the disappearing Japan. I'm planning to go back to the places that I went before, and I'm wondering how they've changed since then. I'm imagining ghost towns. I'm imagining emptiness. Houses where there are no lights at night. Okay, just a second. I'm going to go back in. I've got this hard cider that I bought from the cidery up in the mountains. And I'm supposed to drink it by tonight. So I'm going to drink it the rest of it right now. Get my jug. I'll drink it like a country bumpkin. Bear with me. Hold on. You can look at the fire. I'll throw another log on too. I'll be back in just a second. Okay, Michael, I see that you've got more coming. And then I'll answer the rest of the questions. Bear with me. Listen to the horses neigh. Throw another log on. Oh, good. And out of wood. That means I get to go see that cute proprietress tomorrow. Ooh, more wood. This is too big. Let me get the grog. Just a second. My jug. So with this, I got it from the Calico Cidery. I can go refill it. Kurt, do you know the stars and constellations? Well, I can pick my Orion out from my Big Dipper, which I can see right now. Big Dipper's right there. It goes. I can see a satellite too. Orion, I won't be able to see until near dawn because it's a winter constellation. I know the Pleiades. I know the Little Dipper. I know the Big Dipper. I know Orion, and that's about it. Now look at me. I'm going to be like a country bumpkin. That's the way to do it. So tomorrow I'm going to go refill this thing. I'm going to finish it tonight. Refill it with another, however the hell much this is. Whatever. Oh, Lord, that's good. This is something I won't be able to have in Japan. Okay, let's see if put this down here like a proper country bumpkin. And I am a proper country bumpkin. Let's see if Michael finished his comment. His bullets. Okay. Well, there's all kinds of comments. Okay. Michael, you had finished with a moral person in the absence of. I'm drinking a nice big stinky IPA. Cheers. Michael, clearly you're drinking a little too much of that because you didn't finish your sentence. You said, and then there's the whole religious journey. You helped me to recognize my path as a moral person in the absence of. LOL. Okay, Michael, cheers to you. You're clearly a little bit drunk just like I am, but not enough. This is 9%, but I don't feel it at all. Okay. Michael, you might find this interesting. I will get to the other comments in just a second. Maybe that is the whole thought. You're right, Boba. Absence of religion, sorry, thought it spoke for itself. Ha ha ha. Oh, okay, now maybe I get it. Sorry, I wasn't meaning to throw any shade your way, Michael. Person absence of. Oh, in the absence of. I thought that you were finishing that. There was no period there. I thought you were that there was something more coming. I recognize the path as a moral person. The absence of, in the absence of religion. Oh my God, I'm glad that we sorted that out because that is so important to me, Michael. Because that has been one of my missions is to I talk about the idea of morality as not necessarily being required as to stand upon an edifice of faith or religion, right? That we can be moral beings. In fact, I think we can be still more moral beings when we rest our morality on an edifice of reason, don't you think? And I would like to say that the woman that brought me this tonight, she brought me, it's the landlady, the woman owns this tiny house, this whole property here. You can't see it, it's not in the light, but she brought me this as a gift. She brought me more lamp oil for my lamp, and she also brought me this bag of candy here for Halloween. Isn't that nice of her? Yeah. She's confided in me her own journey from religion to the secular world. We've had some very interesting talks, she and I, about that topic. Okay, I'm not going to drink like this because I feel I feel like a drunkard if I do that. I'm going to go ahead and pour this out. All right, now preserve this growler, as it's called, to refill tomorrow. I'll rinse it out and refill it. Okay. Michael said something else, and I'm neglecting everybody else. I'm sorry. Ha. No shade. Michael knows me better. Michael's the kind of guy, guys. If you don't know, the others of you, Michael and I go way back in an immediate sense by virtue of Discord. If you're not, and I haven't opened up the Discord for a long time, but there is a Discord related to the stuff that I do. I just don't talk about it very often. Michael, I think you were maybe one of the first persons to join. And by Discord has its advantages in life. It really is the proper place for human discourse. You know, just in spite of the Discord. What do you think, Michael? Maybe I should open it back up. Send out some more current links. Maybe drop a link in the description of this video after all is said and done. Get more people in there. Right now, it's mostly just me. Every day, texting in, hey, it's another day. But anyway, that's how I know Michael. So I know Michael well enough to know that just about any, like good friends, just about anything I would say, if he took offense, the first thing he would, in his mind would be, well, maybe I misunderstood, because Kurt couldn't possibly mean me offense. And I have that relationship with you. You give me that benefit of the doubt, so to speak. Okay, let me see what else is going on here. I think there's another one. No shade, haha. Michael says, I spent 30 years in evangelical Christianity, hard to break out of binary thinking, and was struggling with the great indifference. You helped me to make peace with myself and staring into the void. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Michael. That was the reason I wrote Going Alone. But as I like to say, the the trick on going alone is not the going alone part. It's the coming back, right? And you're right there. Michael says, I'll wrap my thoughts and we'll let others chime in more. I don't want to monopolize. I've been active on YouTube comments and I'll peek into Discord again very, very soon. Thank you, Michael. And you're not, certainly, your commentary and your observations are always so appreciated. Let me see if I'm not missing everything. This is actually, I'm learning how to do this. Go back a little bit and see what I missed. And I apologize if I missed somebody. Came out the same year it was made. Okay. Boba says, I bought your book and still have the desert rocks you... Okay, well, I'm on. Okay, there you go. Boba says, I need some alone time to read it sometime. Fancy that. I bought your book and still have the desert rocks you sent me. Wow, you've got an early edition if you've got rocks. Actually, though, to be honest, I haven't finished it. You've got an early. Do you have one of those, Boba, do you have one of those books that has the desert landscape cover or one of the ones that has the newer cover? Because I was sending rocks when I first published the book. I haven't sent rocks for years. I'm gonna sit back just a second. I'm sorry, I'm losing track of the comments, but I'll try to catch up. It's Saturday night. I don't have to go to bed. But Boba, it's an interesting thing to consider. Um, if you have rocks, what others that don't know what that means is, when I first published Going Alone back in 2018, people that asked for it, I would send them the copy, and I had a collection. I would go out, I was still finishing my work in the desert, and I would go out into the desert, I would collect little rocks from people, and I would tumble them in a tumbler. Gosh, this was ages ago. And I would send people the book and send them a few rocks. Now, I only did that for like 6 to 8, 9 months or something like that, a short window of time. So, Bob, if you've got if I sent you rocks, that means you got a really early version of the book. You might even have one of the copies, very rare, which is the desert landscape cover on it. I changed it to the sunset cover shortly thereafter, and then my daughter Emily painted that cover, and that's the one that we have today. And it's a mixed thing, Boba, if you have that early copy, because it's not the full story. That book probably has 270 pages, maybe. The current version of Going Alone has about 300 pages. So you're missing maybe 30 pages of what I think is important content and important restructuring of the book, editions and reformatting, and then copious edits. I mean, I've edited that thing for years, and it's to the point now there's not a typo in there. It's funny, I get comments from people sometimes asking, don't you need a comma here? And I'm like, I don't even need to look. I'm like, nope. There's not a single thing out of place in that book anymore. Because by virtue of the book readings that I did for so many years, that I read through it over and over and over, and it's exactly the way I want it. That book is done. But you've got a copy if you've got rocks. There's an early version. Part of me, I was just thinking about this recently, Boba. Part of me thinks that those are the more genuine editions because they're more off the forge. The book that it is now is a refined, edited version. If I was to die and leave one version behind, it would be the version that it is now. That is the right version to be behind. But if you've got an older copy like that, I love those sparks. You've got something that, from my perspective, is special and unique and a more pure voice. I hope you get to read it. And let me know if you have questions. Let's see if I can come back up and carry on where the comments left off. Ooh, I saw an interesting comment there about the skyline. I know exactly what you're talking about. I didn't have to read it yet. I'll get to it. Okay, I just haven't finished it. I bought your book and still have the desert rocks you sent me, actually, though, to be honest, I haven't finished it. Don't worry about not having, if you started and haven't finished it, that's normal. Like I told you before, it took me 10 years to read all of Walden. I've owned your book for 6 years. This is what Boba says, so I think I have 4 more years to read it. There you go. You get my point then, exactly. There's the comments from Michael. Boba says, this came out the year I was made. Came out the same year I was made? What came out the same year you were made? What? What does that mean? Boba says, I wonder if that old skyline is still seen at the end of that road. Oh, you remember that, huh? I'll go back and find out for you. I know exactly where that is. I know exactly, and I'm impressed that you remember that video. I loved, but I'm still sad about that video that a tea farmer invited you to his farm, and a year later you went back and it was abandoned. I imagine that it's all forest now. I know, I think about that guy often. Pep Rex says, I always remember that video you done years ago, the old rice farmer that was there, and a video a few years later that he was nowhere to be seen. Now, isn't that interesting that there are 2 comments back to back about the same video? Klaus ANA and Pep Rex commenting on exactly the same video. Back to back. Yeah. Wow, both of you had the exact same thought. Yeah, Boba Sweat notices that as well. Haha. I'm drinking a nice big stinky IPA. Cheers. Nice, Michael. Mixed vodka for me. Nice, Klaus. Kurt, do you know the stars and constellations? I think I addressed that one. Maybe that is the whole thought. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Absence of religion. Sorry, I thought I spoke for itself. Got it. Have you ever been up in Hokkaido during the winter snow? I've never been to Hokkaido. I'd like to. No shade. Haha. I spent 30 years in the evangelical. Okay, we talked about that one already. Bob. Hi, Bob. Chocolate candy is my weakness. I would eat the whole basket though. Man, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you, Boba. The rocks. I got it from Amazon. It has a gray brown cover. I think you've got the old one then. Good for you. Good for you. That's a very, very limited edition, so to speak. Rudy, what is it? Okay, and then Bubba says, the movie you were talking about came out in 89. Okay, so you're familiar with that movie. Let me get my dog. Hold on. My copy says copyright 2017. Yeah, that's the original. Come here, Rudy. Rudy boy. Hey, Rudy. Hey, Rudy. No? Okay. Okay, Rudy snuck back in the house. He knows better than to come out here after dark. Did yours come with rocks too, Boba? Yes, I would like to know that question too. The answer as well. Good night out there in the high desert. Good night, Roku Jones. Thanks for joining us. This is actually the perfect setup. It's nice and warm. Boba says, nope, I have no rocks. What a nice setup. Oh, twin lamps. Oh my gosh. Welcome. There's a name from the past. You've been with me absolutely forever. It's good to see you. Klaus says, I'm assuming all of the old versions that have X on the top, right, showing where the rocks are from. Ah, yeah. Oh my gosh, Klaus. Do you have one of those? What the hell is that? I almost said the nasty word. That's a scary sound out there. Klaus, do you have one of those with the X in it? Yeah. If Klaus, if you've got one, because that's right, because the cover was actually like a map, and I put the X on the cover to indicate where the stones came from. If you've got one of those, that's like, I mean, it sounds weird to say, but it's like, classic. Michael recognizes twin lamps too. Good to see you finally caught alive. Yeah. Watch out, Kurt. The Chupacabra gonna get you. I don't know what it is, guys. Scary. But hold on. I just want to linger for just a second. I know that several of you out here are old timers from the old days. Am got the reference. I made this name a long time ago. What? Em got the reference? What reference is that? Why didn't I never get that reference? Good to see you, you and what? Okay, I don't know what that means. Guess it's going to be an inside joke, inside thing between the two of you. But I just want to linger for a second about, there are names, this American sabbatical. It's not a sabbatical, it's been a hell. I mean, it's great living in America. America's great. Work's been hell these last 10 years. There's names that are like, I should call it like the pre-America names. I should call them like the softypapa version 1.0 names. The names that I remember from softypapa 1.0. And Twin Lamps is one of those. Michael, of course, too, and several others. I don't recognize your screen names necessarily, but I know Michael definitely. And just because Michael, by virtue of Discord, has gone from being a name on a social media to being a human being that I know actually personally, so to speak. And then there's the people that I remember from before I came to America, and Twin Lamps is one of those. I see those. I make it a point to answer all comments on YouTube. I answer every day. I don't go to bed until I've answered every comment on YouTube. So Twin Lamps is one of those that I remember from long ago. It's good to see you. And forgive me if there's others out there whose name I don't recognize, but you jump out at me. But there is something out there in the dark as I try to catch up on the comments. But I'm not scared. I'd always... Okay. Sorry, it's from an old video game. So you guys clearly, Michael and Twin Lamps, understand the game. I'd always imagine... Bubba says, I'd always imagine traveling across the barren desert southwest and running into you one day. Bobo, are you someone who would travel across the desert? Is that something you do? Are you from the Southwest? And what would such an encounter be like? Can you just imagine my surprise? place where I wrote Going Alone, the deep water wilderness, is not a place where you find anybody. That would be quite shocking to find somebody there. It would break the spell. And then I'm not throwing anything at you, Bola, but if you've read Going Alone, or even a little bit of Going Alone, you'll know that I emphasize over and over again about how the presence of another will, for lack of a better term, break the spell. Not your fault, not anybody's fault. But, ooh, what are you growling at back there? Rudy's back outside and he's growling. I tried to bring him out here. I was going to hold him here, but he didn't want to come. What is it, boy? See, I hear stuff in the dark, just out there beyond. He hears it too. Am I scared? No. You know why? Because everything's done. I'm ready to die. So it doesn't matter anymore if something's out there that can take my life. And there was a mountain lion spotted 2 weeks ago. Hmm. Okay, I saw another comment. And then I'm gonna tell you guys why I actually started this live. The second reason. Okay. Wow. Twin Lamp says, I think your Discord is good community, some very interesting chats, and hopefully more to come. Wait a minute. Are you there? What name do you go by on Discord? I don't see your name, Twin Lamps, on Discord. Who are you on Discord? Bob, are you just watching, just lurking, so to speak? I don't mean lurking in a bad sense, but you know what I mean. Boba says, the road as I explore, I don't find anyone either. And the next one says, Pep Rex says, you need a big flashlight to shine out there. I've got a little one. It's, hey, who's out there? What's out there? Guess it's not big enough. I kind of like not knowing. Uh, what is the main concern about there? Mountain lions, coyotes? My main concern is anything that can hurt my little dog, Rudy. He's a Chihuahua Pom mix. Very small, easily vulnerable. An owl could probably take him away. So he's sitting behind me right now in his crate, which is a metal cage that I set up that is protected by another metal cage surrounding it. He's like in a zoo right now. It's actually a pretty cozy setup. He's got it set up very comfy in there, very warm and soft, and he can look out. And at night, before I go to bed, I cover it up so that he has just a little window into the night. He can see out his little Pomeranian Chihuahua, long-haired Chihuahua mix. And he insists on sleeping outside, so I close the door behind him. He's all sealed in. Nothing can get to him. No bobcat, no coyote, no owl, nothing. And he can spend the whole night out of doors, looking out into the wild. Imagine the discontinuity of that situation where a Pomeranian Chihuahua exposed in the open edge of the Anza Borrego Desert. I mean, I am right on the edge. I'm on private property here. This is a 5-acre ranch, but immediately adjoining me is the Anza Borrego Desert and all the attendant wildness therein. I just love the fact that my little Pomeranian Chihuahua at the very edge of the night. So I have, you can't see it, maybe you can see it if I ring up. See this thing back here? This is my hammock. And tonight I'm going to sleep in that hammock right next to my little Chihuahua Pom mix. look up at the stars when I'm done here talking to all of you and I've drained this brew. I'll douse these lights. I'll let the fire just do its own thing. It's all sealed up. It can't do any harm. I've got a hose at the ready behind. And I'll sit out here with my little dog. So that's the answer. I'm worried about anything that could hurt him, but I've got his setup such that I don't think anything can hurt him. Oh, Twin Lamb says Doc 80s. Of course I know you on Discord. I just didn't put it together that you're Twin Lamps. Oh, okay. The silly Pikachu face. Oh, okay, now I got it. I'm glad I was able to put the two to two together. Klaus says, about when you returned here, you visited a place near Wrightwood called Big Rock Creek. And I love so close. I wish I would have been able to meet you. I've gone camping there some. Oh, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to meet you there. And that was some time back. It's a nice area up there. Thank you for the nice well wishes. If you come to Shizuoka, come meet me, okay? I'm doing Bulbous says I'm doing my little exploring in the far north these days, but love to go down to the southwest one day. Far north? How far north is that? Twin Lamps. Oh, totally understandable. I have two small dogs too. Got it. So, let me tell you who inspired me to do this tonight. It was another J vlogger, um, Alaska north, so really, really far. Wow. Yeah, you're way up there. Unrested. Scott Ackerman. He's been he's back in America. He bought himself a house. I think it's in Florida. Making videos, doing lives, talking to his people, his friends, just like I'm doing tonight. By his people, I mean the folks with which we share some common thread. That's why I was watching that horror movie Tetsuyo, the Iron Man, because Scott was talking about it with his community, the friends he has online. And I really thought that was nice. Scott talking to the people in his life. And I thought I'd do the same. And I'm so grateful for the chance to talk to all of you. It's been really fun. But my cider is almost gone. My flame is going down. My little dog is quiet. And whatever it is that's making those noises in the dark has gone silent. So one last swig. I'll call it quits. Unrested. What a blast from the past. He's active again, Twin Lamps. Or Doc 80, now that I know. Very peaceful live. Well, a lot of comments. Very relaxing. I'm glad. Scott Ackerman, was he unrested? Yes, he is unrested still. It's funny, every time I pop into one of your live chats, it always surprises you how long I've been following. Does it? I, I apologize for that. I apologize if I don't remember you. Um, I'm an older man, I guess. I'm glad he is still active, and you too. Thank you very much. Bob, I will endeavor to remember. Thank you for being with me so long, and I wish you all the best. I hope life is going well for you. I know the middle years are hard for everybody. I'm not yawning in response to any of you. It's just that it's well past my bedtime. So I think I'll call it quits. Um, hey, one last question. Good night, Kurt and chat. Have a good one. Maybe one last question. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Would it have been fun if I did this in Japan? Like, go to the shrine at night? Go maybe downtown? Izakaya? Turn on the camera? Have the live with all of you? Would that be fun? Okay. Of course, we'd love this. I'll try and tune in. I think that'd be awesome. It feels like I'm talking to you all one-on-one. Thanks, guys. And if there's any gals out there, remember the old 9 to 1 ratio. You're all welcome. I'll close with a be safe, but not too safe, and wish you all the best. I think your subs would love this. Thank you, Doc 80. Take care, everybody. Good night.